Today, I'm going to talk about monofins. So, you're wondering what a monofin is. Well, a monofin is basically just a giant flipper. I'm gonna mostly be talking about mermaiding monofins. Monofins come in a variety of shapes and sizes. Mermaid tails generally have two options, ones that have foot pockets that you put your feet in and straps that go around your ankles, or others behave like regular flippers where you just have places that you put your feet in directly on the monofin. Most fabric tail companies make their own monofins, which is usually a piece of plastic like this and a cover with footholes that just go on top of the monofin like this. I'm gonna talk specifically about the FinFun Mermaid tail one and the Magictail.de one. Previously in my review video, I'd said that I had a polycarbonate, like I said, that came out with a new type of plastic one, and I've had this one for almost a year. The difference between the old monofin insert and the new one is the old one was made of polycarbonate, and this is made of polypropylene. The insert here is a stronger material, it's less likely to crack and break compared to the polycarbonate. Basically the same idea as the old one, where it's very flat and rigid, but it's also very flexible. If you're just flapping it and bending it in the water, you can see that it definitely gives that mermaid motion, and it uses the neoprene cover, which is literally just wetsuit material. It even smells like wetsuit, which you simply just stretch over the tail. The good thing about this is that you have a lot of freedom in regards to your monofin, so like when people ask about sizing, foot size doesn't matter, you literally just correspond the tail that matches your body length with the correct monofin. So I think a women's extra small, so I got the Monofin Pro. If you're like, I think the size 6 to 12, then you'll get the Monofin Junior. It's really that easy. So that's pretty good, but the problem is that like compared to the other ones, your feet aren't in there as strong, and so I find that this is the only thing that's really keeping your feet in, the tightness of the neoprene and this little sock bit. And as you can see, mine has stretched so much. It's very loose around my ankles, and I really have to be careful that I'm not kicking it off when I swim. And I think that might just be because I've used it so much, taking my feet in and out. I have friends who have bigger feet that have been using this. I found that recently I've just been having more of my feet coming out of the monofin when I don't want them to when I'm swimming. It's usually when I'm swimming quite hard and I'm just like flapping my feet up and down in this monofin, or my feet will often come loose of the footholds here. One thing I found is that this area around my ankles, it's really, really saggy and baggy. You can see the fading and the stretching here. When I'm swimming, I don't like this being really baggy because then my ankles are apart, and so they kind of flap around and it doesn't really work that well. I like it if my ankles are really tight together. So one thing I found to help combat this is if I just yank this up. If I hike this up, you can see it's less baggy right about here. And so I'll just hike this up, and it's, you know, the seam here is what's around my ankles. And the plus side of that is that it's tighter, but the downside is the tighter I pull this, the more my monofin shows, which is kind of irritating. And now I'm going to talk about the Magictail monofin. I do not have one of those, but I've studied them, I've read a lot of reviews on it, and I consider myself to be pretty educated. It is quite similar to the FinFun Monofin, as it is one piece of plastic with an area for your ankles to go around, but instead of it just being one skin, the whole thing is 4 different pieces instead of 2. This is made of a plexiglass, which is different from what the FinFuns are made of. And I've noticed swimming with that one is that instead of it bending quite as much as the FinFun, it only bends slightly, just kind of like back and forth like this. The foot size for Magictail is a little bit different. There are 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large. The small one is generally for kids with USA foot size 3 to 4.5. The medium is kind of a fit for 6 to 7.5 size feet. That's probably what I would choose, and the large is for people whose feet are about 8.5 to 10 size. And the monofin cover for that one is a kind of fleece-like feeling polystyrene cover. And then in regards to the area in which your ankles put in, it's just kind of a natural rubber with a grippy bit at the bottom that goes on top of the monofin, and then 2 ankle holes which are very, very tight. No problems with it stretching whatsoever. The rubber part is attached to the plexiglass using kind of a plastic back attached by screws, and then you have the rubber part on top. So it's all a very solid contraption, and that makes the monofin a bit heavier. It's about 1.76 pounds or 0.8 kilograms, which seems heavy to begin with, but once you get used to it, it's not that bad. Because it is tight, there is a concern that you can't get out of it, but that's not a problem. Literally, you just have to wiggle your ankles press with your toes and pull your leg out. It's a pretty good monofin. It's not very flexible, so it's not very mermaidy, and the heel is quite boxy and it does stick out. So that's a little bit of a minor about it. But FinFun tails are the same. Your heel is boxy and it does stick out, which is not ideal if you're looking for a really realistic mermaid look. But now I'm going to do something that's going to blow your minds. So for a while I've been considering if I should get a new tail, what kind I should get, and can my monofin fit in the Magictail one. And I can safely say that the monofin from FinFun and the Magictail monofin are cross-compatible. So here you see Jara and I, we're switching our monofins. I'm putting on hers, she's putting on mine. Works perfectly, you don't have to worry about that. If you are considering switching different types of tail skins, I can assure you that you don't have to buy a different type of monofin. It will work. So that's the end of the video. I hope you found it informative, and please give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you have any other questions, just feel free to write to me in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Please subscribe if you want to see more of this, and I'll see you later. Bye!